Good, good, good. So I have my decks ready to go. Let me just grab this other one here. I think what we're going to do, like I said, let's do the between tarot. Let's do the after tarot. You're feeling nostalgic, like back to your teen years? Yeah, Jen? I don't know if I'd ever go back to my teen years, to be honest with you, though. 20s? You know what? No, I don't know. 30s. Not to feel guilty and rest. Yeah. No, don't feel guilty to rest. It's okay to rest. Nothing wrong with that. 4 decks today. 4. Yeah, we'll see. We'll play it by ear. 97 was the best year. You think so, Jen? Oh, I don't know. I don't no. For me, no. For me, no. I have no regrets in my past. But I think I'm the happiest I've ever been now. Oh, and you feel sort of sick, Anne? I'm sorry to hear that. You got to forgive yourself for the past. You've got to let it go. I've been asking that a lot in my videos lately, if you've noticed, you know, even in my lives where we've talked about like peace. Like you have to ask yourself, you know, what does peace mean to you? What is your peace? How can you get your peace? What do you need to have peace? You have an inner ear infection with vertigo. So Anne, I say this with total respect. It's nothing personal to you, but ear infections from a spiritual standpoint are saying, what don't you want to hear? Yeah, it does save right to YouTube. It does, Kara. Yeah. Yeah. You need a deck of those cards that will tell those that are rude to you. You have a card for them? Perfect. Time with your children brings you peace. Yeah. Family. Friends. For me, it's like salt baths. Like I'm a salt bath fanatic. Like that is my escape. Maybe that's what I need to do tonight. I think that's what thank you for reminding me. I think that's what I need to do tonight. I think a lot of us are making, how many of you would agree that you're right now making some major life decisions? Major life decisions. I think that is the case right now. Yeah. Yeah, with Epsom. Oh, always Epsom salts bath. Absolutely. Take Gretchen in the bathroom with me. Actually, you want to know a really funny story about Gretchen? Hold on. I'm going to tell you a really funny tub story. I was living in this condo years ago. And it was picture the vanity. It was like a double sink vanity. And right to my right was a tub. And Gretchen used to love jumping into the tub, right? And obviously no water. Jumping into the tub and then to the edge, and then she would jump onto the counter and she would lay in the sink. She doesn't do that anymore, but she would lay in the sink while I put my makeup on or while I get ready, and she would always sit there and watch me and like sit on the edge of the tub. If you have a cat who does that, you know what I mean. And this is a really funny story. So one day I was filling up the tub to take a salt bath. And, and you know when cats are doing like zoomies and they're playing and they're like going all crazy? Gretchen had no idea that the tub was filled with water. And she couldn't see it because, of course, she's kitty-sized. She couldn't have noticed. She was in the mode of playing and running, that she literally ran from the kitchen all the way around the corner into the bedroom, into the bathroom, like full speed ahead. And she did and she jumped. I want to say like a spread eagle, you know, like, but she jumped like full force right into the tub, into this hot water. And then the best was, I was still in the kitchen, so I didn't know that she had done this. What I heard was this cat all of a sudden doing one of these, and she was slipping and sliding, and she was soaking wet, and she was trying to go around the corner, and she slid on the hardwood, and she like did like a little like tailspin. because she was soaking wet. She had no idea that the tub was filled with water. And I was laughing about this earlier today, thinking about this moment, because she had no idea. And she freaked out. She was like, she was running and then came running back out, slipping and sliding. It was like literally like she was on like a slip and slide, you know? And then her little bum slid out. She did like a little spin on the floor. Oh, it was so funny. I wish I would have had that on video. That would have been gold. That would have been gold. Yeah. Did she ever go in again? Hi, Jeff. Into the tub? Not, I mean, not with water, but she was apprehensive for sure. She certainly took a look. She definitely took a look. Hi, Oki. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's been an interesting day. It's been an interesting day. Okay. You guys ready? Let's take a look at these cards. Side note, side memory of Gretchen in her youth. I think she was only maybe 2 years old at that point. All right. Yeah, I don't know, Jill. I haven't heard from King Prawn in a while. Hi, John. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? TTP. TTP, my friend. Okay, you guys ready? Let's look at the Between Tarot. I even took the book out, even though I don't read, you know, I don't read with the book. But I took the book out just because you never know. This is a new deck. If there's something we're debating, we'll look it up. But let's look at what the current energy. So a lot of us are feeling like we're in limbo. We're feeling like we're in between. And of course, we are right now, like literally as we speak, in between Leo and Virgo season. This is the last few moments. Thank you, Alex. The last few moments of Leo season. Oh, look at this. 4 of Cups and 5 of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so 4 of Cups is like the universe trying to give you a cup and you're not seeing it. You're in deep contemplation. 5 of Cups is feeling sad. Hey, Shells. Aw, Shells and Kells. I love it. The energy of this card tells me that we are in that sort of sad energy, or that ignorance is bliss. Oh, it's been quite the day, Shells. I was just talking about it. My kitties have not been well. Hi, Maria. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's start, because we're going to start off the tone. Let's look at what is... The only thing I don't like about this book is I don't like the way that it's organized. It actually kind of bothers me. Okay, let's see what this is. The 4 and 5 of Cups. Okay, we know that the 4 of Cups is about apathy and boredom. You know, contemplation, not seeing the cup. Oh, thank you, Maria. And then the 5 of Cups we know is sadness. Okay, it's loss and it's sadness. In between concept means disassociation or split of paths. So the couple who were so happy in the previous card have settled into an apathetic situation where they're bored and listless. They have been together some time and are starting to take each other for granted. They refuse to look at each other now or even talk. Communication is difficult. The broken vases on the floor show the emotions as represented by water have now leaked out onto the floor. Precious emotions have been lost, but there is still a promise of reconciliation with the hand emerging from the cloud, the 4 of Cups. The sadness, 5 of Cups, is already visible on the couple's faces, but they're not completely immersed in it yet. So how interesting is this? If you were with me on my YouTube live last night, we talked about this exact example. And I talked about how in relationships, one of the biggest mistakes that I see, and this is just my own observation and even personal experience, is that people forget that relationships take work. Especially in marriages, people tend to think that because you're married to someone that they're going to be with you till death do us part, and that it's just an automatic, hey, you married me, you're good, you're Gucci, you're going to be with me forever. And that doesn't always work out that way. And we forget that we need to put effort into the relationship. And I talked about the cycle yesterday, about how once you get into that sort of dangerous cycle, you know, someone's being a jerk because they're being a jerk. Then other person doesn't want to engage in any physical activity because said person is being a jerk. And then because someone doesn't want to engage with the physical activity, jerk becomes more of a jerk and the cycle continues. That's just a general example. That doesn't have to be your situation. I'm just giving an example that makes sense. And when you get into that sort of cycle where there's resentment and there's spite. Hi, Chrissy. There's spite. It's very hard to get out of. So this energy right now is saying that people might be feeling like they're in an in-between stage. Now, this doesn't have to be about love. I'm going to apply this obviously to the general, masses here, where we say you could be in a relationship where you're just not sure where you stand. Hi, Bella. Where you're not sure where you stand. Okay? You might be feeling like you're in your comfort zone, but you want different or you want better. Hi, Sunny. You might be feeling like you're not happy in your job. You know you want to do different, but you're afraid to lose what you have because you're saying, can I have better? I think that this card in general says that there is a possibility for opportunity. The question is, do people want to see it? Yeah, Nelson, I agree. My dad is somewhat okay, Chrissy. It's been a really odd day, actually, in that aspect. He was transferred to a different hospital. Hi, Melanie. So this makes sense? Oh, thank you, Carmen. You're so kind. So this is about an in-between energy. So let's look at the Intuit Oracle first and kind of feel out what that means. Yeah, the grasshopper. See, this is the thing. And it's a 5 card. And this card was talking about moving into the 5 of Cups. Okay? So 5s are about big changes. And are you willing to take the leap? Are you willing to say, I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to go for it. I want to push forward. He was transferred because where he is, they can't assess him in the way that he needs. So it's not a bad thing, but it's definitely going to be a real shift or change. Oops, almost dropped all these cards. Thank you, Chrissy. So let's see, what else do we need to know? The biker, the lone wolf, the nonconformist. Who's going to be the one to stand up? Thank you, Chrissy. This is the question. Who's going to be the one to stand up? You or them? Who's going to do different? Thank you, Texas. Who's going to be the one to, who's going to be the one to make a difference? It is and it isn't, Cindy. It kind of is a rehab facility, but there's not much rehab for him because he can't stand up on his own. He can barely sit up. So this is the difficulty. So who is going to be the nonconformist? Who's going to stand up? Who's going to break the rules? Who's going to break the cycle? Is really what I think those cards are asking, if that makes sense to you guys. Okay. Let's take a look at what the After Tarot says. So let's look at how we're going to shift from that 4 and 5 of Cups. Collaboration and coming together. Interesting. So the three of Pentacles is all about collaboration, and it's an upgrade. Hi, Bill. It's an upgrade. So there's definitely a need here for someone to do different and to do what they're passionate about, to follow their intuition, their own inner guidance that says, I need to do different. Because otherwise you're going to be stuck. And that's that in-between energy that we don't want, okay? So I hope that made sense to you guys. Let's take a look at what is our potential or challenge with this energy. Makes sense. So what a beautiful card. This is about being in between the Chariot and the Strength card. Okay. Now the Chariot is all about all systems go. The Strength card is, do you have the strength and the courage? Okay. Now let's take a look at the book. Why not? Why not? Why not? The only thing is, like I said, I find this, I don't know if it was this book or it was the other book that was kind of irritating. So this one talks about how we know, okay, strength, movement, protection, focus, and effort. Okay, let's set the scene. It says, the Fool Chariot, not the Fool Chariot, the Chariot and Strength. Well, this is right. The Fool Chariot has used his power in standing to protect and defend his family from attack and is now being handed an even greater challenge. He's now removed from forward movement and active duty needs to be patient and calm, awaiting his next step on the journey. Everybody wants to get going. They don't know how to wait and be patient, right? It is a cool card, I agree. This is often a difficult transition to go from a very active situation to one of stillness and non-action. It requires the inner strength, which is the hallmark of the astrological sign of Leo, the lion. This image of Leo can be seen shining in its constellation above the mountain in the card. It's a reminder that these qualities can be obtained through courage and leadership. The candles which are forefront in the card represent the need to find central focus. The mountain represents the spiritual challenge that is presented, and the water that pours down reminds us that our emotions are vulnerable in this in-between stage. So this is why I believe that many people are taking a time out. So here's the thing. Let's go back for a second, okay? So in that Four of Cups, Five of Cups, we know that there's a difficult decision to be made in a relationship or a situation. We need to make a move. We don't know how to make a move. We don't know who's going to stand up. We don't know who's going to be the one to break the rules or to break the cycle. Somebody's got to get off the hamster wheel. Somebody's got to get off the roller coaster. And we need to find a way to upgrade. Okay? And this card here says that before we make the move, we have to contemplate and figure out how to do it. Now, is there a right way or a wrong way? No, but here's the problem. Not making a decision is making a decision. So if any of you are finding that you're more comfortable just sitting in this non-action, eventually it's going to bite you in the butt because that non-action is going to manifest more non-action. So a lot of people, I think right now in particular, are feeling like they need a timeout or they need to disconnect or detach from even the people that they love and are closest to. I don't know if any of you can identify, maybe you can let me know in the comments. How many of you lately have been feeling like you really care about someone or people around you, but you almost just can't be around them? You don't even, you want to talk to them. You want to know that they care about you. You want to show them that you care, but you almost can't because you haven't processed. There's like a need right now to truly process the emotions. And this could be as simple as someone who's like, how do I feel about this person? Do I want to enter a relationship with this person? Are they for real? You know, one of the readings that I posted today, I believe, or yesterday, was the one about the sunglasses where somebody's kind of watching from a distance. They want to know whether you're the real deal or they're the real deal. They want to know if this is just a karmic situation. Hi, Sahida. Whether this is a karmic situation or whether this is, a true soul connection. So I think there's people right now who are seriously kind of going within and saying, what do I want? Because time is moving. We are moving. What are we going to do about it? So if that makes sense, I know that was a long explanation, but I definitely feel that there might be a little bit of like pulling back, a little bit of testing. Okay. It's draining. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm a little speechless, which is rare. Look what this is. Time does give us answers. It does. And giving people freedom, and I talked about this last night on live, obviously on YouTube, was the idea that people do need freedom. Okay? Now, we've got the twin flame card, and I don't like to use the labels anymore of twin flames and soulmates and whatever. I do believe it's deep soul connections because I think there's a variety of connections we can have with people. But 1111, obviously spiritual ascension, deep soul connections, heart activations, balancing of masculine, feminine energies. Yeah, Tavia. So literally you just pulled your energy back because decisions need to be made. Yeah, they but I want to remind people about something though. This is the difficulty if it's regarding romance. I really highly suggest that you don't bring up the conversation and say, what are we? If you have to say, what are we? It never really goes the way you want it to, because here's the thing, that means you're giving sort of an ultimatum, or you're giving the sort of, now unless you're in a situation where you've been spending 5 years and you still don't know what you are, that's a different story. But if you're at a point where this is still fairly new and you're working through things, and it's like letting yourselves amalgamate to each other's lives, because this is like when I say don't go trying to bust out the Miracle Grow, you have to let things develop organically. So it really depends on what stage you are in regards to dating and relationships. But I really do believe that this is reflection. I mean, it says right on the card, it says reflection. I think somebody right now in regards to, and it says soulmate on here too, that this is really about saying, what do I want? I know, Cheryl, it's very hard. And we talked about that for sure. What about just allow it to flow? I agree, Jeff, 100%. Hi, nurse. Rye, what about asking if they want to move forward together? Yes, but I would not say, what are we? And asking for a label or definition. I mean, we can do a show of hands. Anybody who's ever had to have the conversation with somebody where you say, what are we? How did that go for you? We know. Hi, Cabby. We know. Because if you have to have that conversation, it usually doesn't go very well. 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying that it's impossible. That is, Tavia, makes sense. You can say, you don't have to. Actually, the advice that most dating coaches give is don't ask, introduce. This is my boyfriend so-and-so. See what they do. This is my girlfriend so-and-so. See what they do. When you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, this is my boyfriend. This is my girlfriend. People say that's the best thing to do because that's how you get an answer. But the problem is most people don't want to know the answer because they're afraid, right? But it really depends on the time frame, I think, of the connection, Yeah. Because Alex, at that point, and I hate to say it, at that point, we ended up together and then he cheated. Sometimes people will just say whatever you want to hear just to get the conversation out the door. People don't want to have that conversation. So Kara's thinking about coconut. She's thinking of our safe word here. There's the library. Information. Somebody's gathering information. You can't even make this up. Somebody's gathering information. They're doing research. They're really thinking it through. Now let's see what... Hi, Dasha. Oh, Dasha, we've been talking about deep, deep things tonight. Deep philosophical things. Let's see what the After Tarot says about this contemplation. So once this contemplation happens, love it. The Star. Sorry, I'm just covering her up here. You know what I'm covering up. So this is about healing. That's amazing, Ronald. That's amazing. Sending you lots of love, Dasha. Very soon, very soon. The Star, healing. Notice how she's now pouring the water and nourishing the earth. It's not just, the pool here. So this is about healing. So I think that in due time, I think that contemplation is all about the healing. Okay, so let's take a look at what we should focus on today. So right now, this in-between phase, what should we focus on? The 3 of Coins and the 4 of Coins. Okay, interesting. So traditionally, thanks, Fran. It's called coconut, hence our safe word. Oh, Melanie, have I sent you some dates for this week? I thought I did. I thought I did. Check your spam. If not, I'll send you an email tonight because I can see you very soon. This is typically the card of holding back. The 3 of Coins we talked about earlier is collaboration and working together, right? The upgrade. And then this, thank you, Anne. And then this 4 of Coins is all about the idea of like holding back. Yours is pineapple, Cindy? Oh, Cindy, really? You know the meaning of pineapple. But let's take a look in the book and see how this applies. Okay, so 3 of coins and 4 of coins. And I'm good for that day. The day that I sent you? I'm good for that day. I believe that was Wednesday. So here's the 3 of coins, 4 of coins. Networking, organizational bonds, okay? Security, accumulation, slave to the system, right? We are now inside the London textile factory where the suffragettes are working. Away from the usual promotional activity, they still have a role to play by working for money to keep their families in house and with food. The factory is poorly lit and the conditions are tough. This is far from ideal. Okay, hi Liza. Oh, it's Steph. Oh, Steph, I'm sending you lots of love. So he wants them to realize that they have to work hard to earn their money and is exacting in his influence. This in-between stage shows the mundane stage where it is realized that without material concern, the effort of the 3 of coins will never be achieved. The faces of the suffragettes in this card say it all. They're temporarily slave to the system. So Mel, yeah, this is the in-between tarot. So this is saying to us right now that you may be feeling like you are systematically bogged down. You are in this phase of, it's the in-between phase. I do, Eliza. Yeah, or Steph, sorry. But when you tell me, it helps me remember. So this might be feeling like right now, like again, we're on the brink of some major change, but the financial side of things is where you might be sort of like, it's almost like the idea of like in general, it doesn't have to be finances, but like no risk, no reward. You know, you're working day in, day out at whatever it is, relationship, work, anything. And, you know, there's this concept of being held back systematically, expectations being put on you. Okay. So let's see. You don't feel like you belong. You want to feel like you belong. And that's the key here. You want to feel like you are a part of something. You don't want to feel like you're being spoken to. You want to feel like you are a part of a team, a part of something. You don't want to feel micromanaged. You don't want to feel the expectation. And let me take that back to the relationship side for a second. That's the whole thing about being in a marriage where the expectation is you're married, so you just got to be there, or they got to be there. But you're not really putting in the work. There's the expectation. Well, you're my wife, you're my husband, you're whoever, you're my person, so you gotta do this. You're a mother, you've always got to be in that nurturing role. You're a father, you've always got to provide. There's that feeling of that expectation. Whatever that expectation is for you, that's what you're feeling. And you want to feel like you belong rather than you're being told to do something, if that makes sense. Okay, nobody likes to be told. Like, I want you to think about this for a second. And I say this with total respect to people. And it goes both ways. And it's not about gender. But like, you know, whenever like I hear like bashing, whether it's man bashing, woman bashing, and I see a lot of TikToks these days about people saying like, who insults the other the more? Do men insult women or women insult men the most? Like, it's all just insults. If you're having to tell somebody all the time, you know, it's like, he's just a stupid man and he should know better. And then it's like, oh man, the women, they should know better. They do this. Is like this insulting, this bashing. If you have to tell somebody and you got to nag somebody, that's not fun. Okay? Like, nobody should be micromanaging their partner. Okay? Nobody should be micromanaging their own partner. They're grown adults. You don't have to tell your man what to do, your woman what to do. You don't have to micromanage them and treat anyone like a child. No man is a child, no woman is a child. Stop treating people like children. They're grown adults. You don't like to be told what to do, so don't be telling anybody else what to do. And I think a lot of people are like losing their shit right now because they feel like they're being told or they're being micromanaged, and nobody wants to do something for someone when they feel like they have to. Do you remember the old story? And this is an old Kelly story from TikTok. When I first came on TikTok, I told you guys a story about a student that I had years ago. And I'll never forget, because this is how I work. This is exactly how my mentality works. If you walk in entitled, or you have an expectation of something and you demand something of me, I go completely the other direction. So I'll never forget, it was Halloween and I had brought chocolates for everybody at school, out of my own pocket. I go spend money on these treats and whatever. And this girl comes up to me, and the first thing she says to me, not even a hello, not even a whatever, and she said, "What are you going to give us? What are you going to give us?" Oh, and I was like, nothing. You get nada. Okay. Hi, Cinnabon. And that turns me off instantly, because I love to give out of the goodness of my heart without an expectation. But if somebody's going to come up to me and say, "What are you going to give me?" Okay. Now let's fast forward for a second. Same class, because that was semester 1. That was Halloween. Then all of a sudden, Christmas comes along, winter break, and I bring treats. Okay. I go around the room. I have this big bowl of candy and treats and whatever, and I'm like, "Here you go, happy holidays," da, da, da. And like the kids are being so sweet. They're like, thank you. And they're like, and the students have always been so kind with me. I've never had a problem with classroom management. Has there been attitude every now and again? Sure. But usually it's not about me. It's about what's ever going on in their life. They're teenagers, so I get it. But anyways, when like you put a bowl out in front of them, and like they'll take like 1 or 2, and like I'm okay with that. This same girl. She goes into the bowl and she scoops out, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, "You're welcome," because there really wasn't any kind of thank you for this. And I'm watching as like our class is like watching a movie together, and like, we're laughing at whatever we're watching. Who knows? It's like Home Alone or Elf or something like that. And like I'm watching her. She's regifting my chocolates, my candies on her cards to her friends. She's like taping them to like other envelopes. And I'm like, oh, that's like really, like, that's like so not nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not nice. But actually, it kind of reminds me of a funny story that I have about panettone. If you're Italian, or you know about the panettone, the gift that keeps on giving, the gift that you regift everyone. Remind me to tell you that story one day. But anyways, long story short, if somebody has an expectation, or they're telling you what to do, or they're nagging at you, okay, you're more than likely not going to do it. So apply that to, you know what I'm talking about, the panettone, or the panettone. Everybody always thinks I'm Italian because I was married to an Italian. But anyways, I have a really funny story about the panettone. Because if any of you are Italian or you buy the panettone, you know that that's the gift everybody regifts. It's like fruitcake. Yeah, you understand that. It's like the fruitcake concept, where like, you're going to Nonna's house, or you're going to Zia's house, or you're going to the paisan's house, and you got to bring something with you, and you bring the panettone with you, because of course it's the gift that keeps on giving. And most people don't want to eat the one with the fruit in it anyways. They want to eat the chocolate one, or they want to eat the lemon one. But of course you bring the fruit one, which is, yeah, in your family, it's an Italian fruitcake, yeah. In your family, it's a painting, yeah. Or you just regift a painting. It's true, Alex. One of the funny stories that I had about this was that a friend of mine it's true. A friend of mine, her father owns a large construction company, a big Italian family. And so what ended up happening was she gets a lot of gifts because it's a large construction company. So a lot of families, at Christmas time, they give the wine and the panettone. So she had a whole pile of like freaking panettones. Okay. Like, talk about like a mountain of panettone. And she was going to a function. And so she ended up she's like, "I'm going to grab this panettone here and a bottle of wine, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to regift it." So she shows up to the person's house and she's like, "Here, Merry Christmas, whatever." And she gives the panettone. Okay. All good, right? Okay. they're sitting at the dinner table, and I don't know when they were going to have the panettone. Obviously it must have been like for dessert when they're having coffee or whatever, who knows. And all of a sudden, the hostess of the party or the dinner says something along the lines of, "Oh, like how thank you so much for bringing the panettone. It's fantastic." And the friend goes, "Oh, yeah, it's I don't know what she said about it." And you know what? The lady who was hosting, she was the original gifter of the panettone. And the reason she knew she was the original gifter of the panettone was because she marked the bottom. She marked the bottom of the box. So in theory, she was trying to set somebody up, but she ended up getting back her own panettone, and she knew that she was the one who gave it. So can you imagine the awkwardness of this dinner party? Because here my friend was, and she was, regifting the hostess's panettone. And that's a no-no. That's a no-no. No pun intended to no-no. But anyways, yeah, it was like entrapment. Total entrapment. Sorry, I have a million stories. You don't even understand. I have a million stories. Yeah, so awkward. A smart lady, a little entrapment though. Well, I hope the panettone was good if she was the one that bought it. Because if she bought a cheap one, you know. But anyways. So, long story short, if you are in a scenario where you're feeling like you're micromanaged, or you're being told what to do, or you feel like you're always having to like parent your spouse or your partner, we don't want to be in that kind of energy. So I think right now people are feeling like they're under someone's thumb, whether it's relationship wise, whether it's work wise, but people are feeling quite stressed. I mean, those are all funny stories, but how awkward. How awkward. There's the urn. So the urn energy, you feel like you're parenting your spouse and it's stressful. And I'm sorry to hear that. It's not easy. But this is the thing. I think people try to force their way onto others. And when someone doesn't want to do what they do, it's frustrating. But that's where we have to recognize, oh, thank you, Jody. This is why we have to recognize that you can't regulate people. And I've been saying this for years, long before I got on TikTok. People are always going to do what they think and feel is best. You cannot tell them. That's why it's so important to stay in your own lane. And I think people try to parent their spouse, their partner, their friends, their coworkers, their whatever, or boss them, whatever you want to call it, as a parent. They do it because they want things done a certain way, and they're worried that if they don't force them or tell them that they're not going to do it. Hi, Luna. So that comes down to the same old discussion about what we have about the fact that you can't just raise people up and force them to do it or to do their healing, right? It doesn't work that way. Hi, Sylvie. Is it a control factor? Yeah, it can be. It can be. Because we want people to do things the way we want. And this is what it comes down to. Yeah, lesson of the day, panettone, the gift that keeps on giving. If you know, you know. Anybody who's ever had to go through having 10 boxes of panettone in the cupboard, you know. And you only pull it out when you're really desperate, unless it's a chocolate one or a lemon one or a custard one of some sort. But anyways, side story. It comes down to the love languages. People have a tendency to love others the way they want to be loved, not the way the person wants to be loved. And that's the mistake in most relationships, in my opinion, because I went through that when I was married. My ex-husband loved me the way he wanted to be loved, not the way I wanted to be loved. To him, love was me being able to, because he was very, very particular about cleaning. He was not a controlling person, abusive person by any means. However, he was obsessed with cleaning. So to him, that was love. If I now, by the way, I did my own laundry. He did his own laundry. This was not about a matter of me having to do anything for him. In fact, he was the one who cooked, cleaned, grocery shopped. I was the sous chef. I was the assistant manager. But if I didn't do things to his standard, he would get annoyed because then he would say, well, I'll just do it. But then I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. Okay? So in other words, that's how he would love me, is the way he wanted to be loved. He didn't love me the way I needed to be loved. And people will say to me, well, how did you walk away from a man that cooks, cleans, grocery shops, loves to travel, is generous, is this, that, whatever? Yeah, he was all those things. He is all those things. Yeah, did I leave his laundry in the dryer? No, Kara, because he did his own laundry. I did my own laundry. He wouldn't. Are you kidding me? I could never iron those mutandis and those socks. Mutandis is underwear in Italian. I could never do it the way he would have wanted it to be done, or the way his mother would have done it when he was living at home years ago. So, long story short, we sometimes we can't do things. We can't put those expectations on people. Did I ever tell him how I want to be loved? Yes, but I think that the average person doesn't really listen. And that's the thing. Because he did do so many wonderful things. He did. But when it comes down to it, he was not the right person for me, and I was not the right person for him. And I used to tell him, even from the very beginning, you know how when you're in a relationship and you have the same fight, the same stupid fight at the beginning as you did at the end? You all know what I'm talking about. I told him when I first met him, I said, I'm not the right girl for you. If you think that I'm going to be cooking and cleaning and doing all this and whatever, hey, there's nothing wrong if that's what anybody does. That's just not me. It's not me. I'll cook and clean with you. But this is who I am. If that's your love language, that's not how. It's hard for me I'll do my best, Yeah, if you vacuum, you're told you missed a spot, you didn't do it. That's Donna, story of my life. I couldn't vacuum properly. I couldn't mop. It wouldn't matter what I did. Didn't matter. It was the same argument every time. If I left a dish in the sink, oh my gosh, the world is over. But in general, this is what happens. This is what happens. We have expectations on people. So, okay, we've got into a real long discussion here, but the whole point is that we have to make the effort. We really have to make the effort to love people the way they want to be loved, and not love them the way you want to be loved. And that's the tough part. I tried to do the vacuuming, I tried to do the cleaning, I tried to do those things, but it wasn't to the standard that was appreciated. And what else can I do? Then you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, and then eventually you just get tired of it. And that's what happens. Cancers are very particular, Kara. They certainly are. In that aspect, yes. Cancers clean. They are obsessed with cleaning. And one of the reasons why cancers, this is a generalization for the cancers in the room, is that cancers, typically that is something they can control versus the things that they can't control. You ask, what can I do to make you feel loved? Yeah. So this is the thing. You have light bulb issues? We've been talking about light bulbs the last few days. And cancers do love hard very too. 100%. I love cancers. A lot of my friends are cancers. Like I said, I was married to a cancer man. But a different way, totally different way of doing things. And everybody has their compatibility, right? Yeah, Kara's a cancer. Hi, Ruth Ann. But, what can you do to be a better friend? Yeah. Anyways, let's look at the after tarot. Okay, so that sort of expectation. So we went into some long tangents here, but again, I want you to really think about the fact of, are you feeling you have to parent? Are you feeling you have to boss somebody? Are you feeling like, you're in this exhausting, the Fool. This is like the moment, look at this. This is like the moment of just being about to let go. Isn't that interesting? And what do cancers often need to do? This is not just a talk about being a cancer, but or a cancer placement, but it's about letting go of the control, seeing what happens when you want to make a move, when you want to make a change. It's that in-between phase. We just talked about this. So this is like that feeling of, let's not be under the thumb of a person, a job, or whatever. This is like saying you got to let go and kind of see where it takes you. Exactly, Ronald. And that's the problem. Pisces in general are so overgiving. Pisces are the Queen of Cups. Now, every sign is overgiving to some extent, but Pisces, I think, really takes the cake, to be honest with you. Let's see what our recent past is. Let's see what our recent past is. Oh. 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 Okay. So, yeah, Pisces, and you approve that message. King of Wands and Page of Wands. So King of Wands, we know, is very nurturing and very passionate. And there's like this forward motion. Page of Wands is having a spark. It's also a communication of some spark. So, yes, Tavia, that's very true of a Pisces. Pisces have a tendency, and I say it with love to everybody, Pisces has a tendency, because they're a fish, they flip-flop. They can go quite hot and cold. They love deeply, but they can also, like, crickets. You don't hear anything. Yes. Yes, Selena. Exactly. Let's see what that card is, the King of Wands and the Page of Wands. Let's see what the in-between here is. Okay, so Courageous Leader is the King of Wands. Hi, Dwayne. Is the King of Wands, and the Page of Wands is inspiration and enthusiasm. Okay. Yeah, Gemini, just want someone to love you as much as they love me. Exactly. That's the mirroring, Bill, for sure. Yeah. The woman is now showing a child around the school she initially built. She is now director of the organization and moves around from unit to unit in order to inspire the next generation of helpers. The movement from King of Wands to the Page of Wands is a handover of the fiery wand. It is now time for the next generation to take center stage. This happens at the peak of achievement and realization that younger minds can bring new life to the project. This in-between stage comes around when we feel humble enough to pass on what we have achieved to others. It involves teaching and giving of self. Many great leaders have practiced humility and inspired a new generation to be like them. So, hi forever. So in your recent past, we've talked about this. We have felt the need to shift. Now, this could even be literally passing along this knowledge to someone else. Yes, just like this card says. But it can also be the idea of like passing along the knowledge that you've learned to your former self. It's the learning and the recognition that you've gone through in order to be a stronger and better person. Let me give you the example. How many times have I ever said to you that starting over does not mean you're starting at zero with nothing. You're starting with experience and knowledge. Holy shift, my friend. Holy shift. This is a major shift. This is now saying, hey, former self. Hey, inner child. Like for example, Jen earlier said that she would go back to 97, and 97 would be around the age of 17, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like saying, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell your younger self? Let me ask you, if you could go back and tell yourself something, your younger 17-year-old self something, what would you tell them? What would you tell them? What do you wish you knew then that you know now? Because I have a feeling that somebody is really in this mindset right now. Somebody's really having this recognition of like, okay, I have to learn this lesson. Don't let fear control you. Don't get married. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, don't get married too soon. Make sure you're dating the right person. Make sure you're thinking clearly. Let go. Thank you, Alex. Don't worry so much. Yeah, don't take strong meds. Yeah. Love yourself and look for the red flags. How proud I am of you. Absolutely, you're a warrior. Those are all beautiful things. Don't doubt yourself. Don't get married. Trust your intuition. Live life. Don't get married. Travel. Find yourself. Yeah. Beautiful. Don't let people steal your joy. Hi, baby D. 100%. What would you talk? And so when I see this card, you can do and are capable of anything you choose to do. Yes, Cindy. Take things with a grain of salt. Because Kara, I'll tell you why a lot of people are saying don't get married. It's not a matter of, in my opinion, I'm gonna speak on behalf of everybody, okay, for a second. I would say it's not so much don't get married, okay? I'll give you an example of a friend of mine. She got married around the age of 22. And her response to me 10 years after the fact was, why didn't somebody shake me? Like, why didn't somebody tell me? Why didn't somebody whatever? Okay? Because at 17, you're not ready. At 20, you're not ready. At 22, you're not ready. You don't need to overdrink to be happy. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Knowing you're not alone, 100%. Don't settle. You know, I got married when I was 27. I was 26, turning 27. You know, I said this yesterday on live. Would I get married again? Yeah, I'd get married again. Do I have to get married again? No. Could I be content in a long-term relationship with someone? Absolutely. It depends on whether they want to get married. It depends on what we feel as a couple. I think it's not so much the issue of don't get married. It's all the things leading up to the marriage. Because you think you know everything exactly when you're young, of course. Yeah. So, exactly. You understand. So you got married at 70. So you get it, Letitia. Yeah, I get it. I think it's not so much getting married, it's the lead up to getting married is the issue. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with getting married. I think it's make sure that you're marrying for the right reasons and you're marrying the right person. A lot of people want to be in a relationship, so they'll do anything to be in a relationship. They'll settle for less just to get that ring on their finger to say, I'm engaged, to say to their friends, look, I'm engaged. Let me do the wedding. Let's have the show. Let's have the whatever. And when all that dies down and the reality hits, okay, now I'm in this marriage. It's very easy to get married. It's a lot more difficult to get unmarried, right? So, you know, would I have kids? Yeah, I would. Sure, I would. But it's not a necessity necessarily. It is what it is. If it's the right thing, absolutely. It's not a matter of don't have kids, don't get married. Although my mother used to joke when I was a child. My mother used to always joke and say, don't get married, don't have kids till you're 40. You're not ready until that point. But in general, I do think that we have to learn from our lessons. Aw, thanks, Jody. I think I'd be a good mother too. I really do. I always thought that I would someday. On the other hand, I've accepted the fact that I'm either way. I really don't have any stress about it because I do believe what's meant to be is meant to be. So, yeah, way better at 37. So let's see, that King of Wands and that Page of Wands. Not necessarily, Kara. More and more people have children later in life. I don't think, you know, I don't think it's that. My mother was actually 40 when she had me. I have 3 beautiful kitties. I do. I'm not worried at all, Jody. Not worried at all. Light bulb? Didn't we just talk about the light bulb? We've been talking about the light bulb for days. Light bulb. Okay. So the King of Wands, there's a spark, and the Page of Wands, there's a spark. It actually says in the book, illumination. Okay? You know that this is exactly on point. So I think a lot of people in the recent past are being illuminated. They're being woken up. There's a shift, holy shift. It's like saying, I need to do this. Whether that means I need to leave a relationship, I need to leave a job, I need to leave a situation, or it could even be the opposite. I need to explore this. I need to change that job. I need to go for it in that relationship. I need to put myself out there. Whatever that illumination is for you, it's for you. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you, right? So in other words, there's not one size fits all. Hi, Mary Lou. It's nice to see you too. If everybody has a different scenario, and you cannot compare yourself to others. That's why I'm saying, don't just get into a relationship because you think you want to be in a relationship because that's what you're supposed to do. You don't have to get married if you don't want to. You don't have to buy a house at a certain time. You don't have to have kids at a certain time. You don't have to do anything. Those are just expectations. You know? So anyways, the idea here is that I think a lot of us in the recent past have had an illumination that something's got to give. In general, something's got to give. What is it? What is it? Is it letting go? Is it pushing forward? Whatever it is for you, something's got to give. Okay? So it's that's an interesting message. Wow. A very interesting message. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Your value as a woman, your value as a human being in general. You know? I think there's a lot wrong in our society right now in regards to how we view men, how we view women, how we treat each other, the expectations we put on each other. I have a real problem with the amount of male bashing that I hear, a lot of the woman bashing that I hear. There is this somehow need, thank you, Kizzy, to one up. And that's why I can't watch those dating TikToks. That's why I can't listen to it, because there's something fundamentally wrong with going around and around and around. Oh, Stacey, I would love to see you. I would love to see you. I'd love to know how you're doing. I could see you soon. Let me know. I just really, really, really have a problem with the way we're treating each other. There's no such thing as I'm better than, you're less than. It's not you're a stupid man, you're a dumb woman. It has nothing to do with these things. And you have to stop listening to that. It's absolutely toxic. I'm tired of hearing about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity and all this stuff. What we need to do is to go to the basics. How about just being a kind human being? How about just letting people do their thing? How about people like actually, you know, like working on themselves and not living under the expectations of other people? And that goes both ways. It goes, in my opinion, when it comes to men and women, if we're going to go gender, it's not a matter of like I'm above or below, or that I'm behind or in front. It's got to be equal giving and receiving. And if you look at traditionally the gender roles of men and women, men were here and women were here, and yes, okay, not cool, not right. But what has happened is, in this rise of femininity, we have then gone extra. And now if you look at media and society, we man bash. We man bash. We've turned men into Homer Simpsons, into Peter Griffins, into Phil Dunphys of Modern Family, even Al Bundy, if that ages me to say that. You know, we turn them into baffling, bumbling idiots. And that's not who men are. And women are not, you know, people who take advantage or, you know, have these unrealistic expectations. There's got to be this equality. It's not above or below or in front or behind. I'm so tired of hearing this, or calling them all narcissistic. I mean, that word is so overused, right? And that, of course, there's true narcissism, and every human, unfortunately, has aspects of narcissism, because humans are naturally selfish. That is the human condition. We know this. But the younger generation doesn't understand it, and the reason why is because look at what we watch on TV. Look at what we're taught. We're taught to watch shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, where, you know, she stole my time with him. Oh, that 5 minutes. He's not going to want me now because he spent 5 minutes with her. Trust me, that's not going to stop him from wanting you. If he wants to talk to you, he's going to. I'm not saying I'm a big believer of that. You know, if he wants to, he would. I'm just making an example. We're taught to gossip. We're taught to trash. We're taught to throw people under the bus. We're taught to just have verbal diarrhea of just like, you know, these stupid commentary that really actually damages and hinders people. You know? Hi, Annette. I just mean in general, if you look at what we see in the dating world, it's so projected. It's so projected. Well, 100%. A man going to do what he wants to do if he wants to go get it. And so will a woman. You know, this is what it comes down to cheating. Like, as an example, because you're referring to cheating or infidelity. Look, I'm sorry. I've been in a situation where I've been cheated on. I know exactly the feeling, okay? So I'm not immune to this. I also know my role in my relationship and what led to that, okay? Not saying I deserve what I got, but I certainly know what my role was. I don't believe that someone just wakes up one morning and says, hey, listen, I'm going to cheat today. Geez, you know, the weather's really nice out today. I think I'm going to go cheat today. I don't know if I really believe, I mean, everybody has a different opinion on that topic, but I do think that people are going to do what they want to do regardless. You can't stop someone. You can try to hold someone back all you want. People are going to do whatever they want to do. Whatever they think and feel is best, they're going to do. That's the whole part about when I say you can't regulate people. How can you regulate people? Go try. Please tell me. Go try to regulate the world. We have 85 people in this room right now. If I went and I said, I'm going to tell each one of you what to do, you know what you're going to say to me? You're going to go like that. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, Stacy, I'm so sorry to hear that. But anyways, boy, we went on a real tangent there. But look, the enlightenment here is you have to decide right now what's got to give. What do you got to do? What do you got to do? What do you got to do right now to push yourself? Now is the time. It's okay, you needed it. I kind of went on these rants because I'm very passionate about this. This is something that is really dear to me because I want people to be good human beings to each other, regardless of gender. It's not even about gender, you know? Oh, Stacy, when did this happen? Yeah, it's totally Alex. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate it. Stacy, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I was going to say I didn't know this story and now I understand why. Stacy, I am absolutely heartbroken over that. Oh, Stacy. Hi, our trouble. That puts life into perspective, and I've been talking about that a lot lately, you know, being in and out of the hospital with my father and whatever. Life is precious. Stacy, we are definitely here for you. People don't understand the women can be the abuser. Absolutely, Stacy. I just had this conversation even about Amber Heard, not that it's about Amber Heard, but with my niece the other day, where we don't talk about the fact that women can be abusers as well. Absolutely. And I'm so sorry. So sorry. So, based on the cards, the light bulb, and that spark, there is tension. But the tension here is not a bad tension. There's this feeling where like somebody's like poking your shoulder and somebody's like, you know, nudging you, and it's like somebody's got to shoot their shot. You all have a chance right now to do something bigger and better than you thought you were ever capable of doing. And the question is, are you ready to take that shot? So let's take a look at the After Tarot and see what we need to know. Celebration. If only you knew what was on the other side of that fear. Right? When you're afraid, if you only knew what was on the other side. Because there's the celebration. Okay? I will try to put this one up on YouTube for you guys. Okay? I know, Dasha. You must be just like, can't wait for that labor. I'm so sorry. It's been 17 years. I'm sorry for your loss. Hi, Jen. Thank you, Stacy. Stacy, you have a heart of gold. I know you do. And I hate hearing these type of stories because you don't deserve it. You don't deserve that. Let's see what now the Between Tarot says. For our strength. What do we need to know about our strength right now? Justice. Justice and the Hanged Man. This is very, very interesting because the Justice card is balance. We know it's equal giving and receiving. And the Hanged Man is about contemplation and going deep within and having a change of perspective and enlightenment. This reading right now, tonight, is really talking about what we know deep down in our hearts and our own truth. Let's put it this way. Everybody knows their own truth. You do. You know you do, right? Sometimes you need that confirmation from me when we do sessions, and you know that I'm going to tell you because I'm unbiased. I'm not there with you in your daily lives. But you all know your own inner truth. No matter whether you want to admit it or not, you know you know. You know when someone's on the up and up. You know when someone's cheating. You know when someone's not doing you right. You just know it. And sometimes we put our blinders on. You know? Hi, Shebug. So this is the thing. This is about balance. This is about enlightenment. There's the illumination again. Let's take a look at what the book says for this particular card. For justice, and the Hangman. So we know that the key words here are, of course, trial, outcome, balance, impasse, reflection, and moving through turmoil. So the meaning of this in between here is moving through turmoil. The Fool Hangman is aloft on the shoulders of the four moving characters. He's been captured and has been tried for his assumed crimes. This is the stage where the assembled crowd are carrying him across the judge and juror and onto the confinement. This is a solemn procession. Our captive cannot move. He is not free to escape. The energy of justice has an association with the astrological sign of Libra, the scales, which is all about establishing a balance, whereas the Hanged Man has an elemental association with water, which is concerned with emotions and emotional processes. In this card, the movement between the two energies would signify a time where the effect of justice has led to an impasse in the Fool's life. There will now need to be a sustained period of time for reflection and coming to terms with what has occurred. I think she's wearing blue, but it does have like imagery of white. I do understand your question. But blue is about communication and it's about emotions. So you can't see it necessarily. There's the Fool, right? Laid out. And now we're trying to find balance. We're trying to go within and get through the turmoil. So funny how we've been talking about this whole reading is about knowing your inner truth. It's what's got to give. How do you work through the turmoil? You've got to think about it. What's your spark? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? You know what's interesting? You know what my niece asked me? Here's some interesting perspective to think from like a 19-year-old girl. And she said to me, Kelly, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I said to her, it's funny because at 19, there's this wide-eyed view of, wow, I'm going to be like 30, I'm going to be just about 30. And I said to her, you know what's so interesting? I don't think about 10 years from now. Not at all. Not at all. I really don't. I don't even think about 5 years from now. I think about the next year of my life. That's all I can do right now. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want to think about a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I want to think about right now. I want to think about what brings me joy right now. What do I need to do to get to the point of next year? What do I have to do right now to be in the process of arrival? Because I don't want to be in a super long process of 10 years of arrival, because to me that's too long. My process of arrival is measured in what am I going to do in the next 12 months to get to where I want to be? Because 10 years seems like a long time. 10 years also flies by. It's all about your perspective, right? So I would say that most people live, yes, Carolyn, totally. It's also trustworthy. I think most people live in, we've got so much time. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. I'll do it next year. And then people don't ever do it. And I don't want to bring up the topic of death here, but as someone who's just been, like I said, visiting the hospital quite a bit, the one thing that I noticed that when people lose someone is that all of a sudden, we get these grandiose ideas when someone passes away, and we say, I'm going to take that trip and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to live differently. How many people actually follow through on that? Jeff, what a great question. Where do you guys, let's ask that question to everybody in the chat. Where do you see yourself in the next 12 months? Where are you in 12 months? I love that question. Where do you see yourself in the next 12 months? It's been a great live tonight. It's been deep. It's been deep. But where do you see yourself? And I can see a lot of you are contemplating, you're thinking. Traveling, home. You want me to start you guys off? Where do I see myself? Oh, you see yourself in England? Yes, finally getting your divorce finalized. Continuing in financial independence. You're looking forward to the next 6 months. Good. Happy home, peacefully content. You've never thought about that. Yeah, because Jody, you always think about everybody else. Melanie says on the beach. Love it. Wherever the wind takes me. Yeah, Selena, I agree with you on that. I think for me is, okay, honestly, of course, I want to feel taken care of in ways that I never felt taken care of before. I was always the one who took care of everybody else. And I had the stability to provide for everyone else. Now, in my time of a bit of instability, I want to feel like myself is being taken care of because I deserve that. Is you too? You feel that way too? Yeah, it leaves it open to many things. It really does. It encompasses a lot of things. Thank you, Selena. I do deserve it. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Strawberry. I do deserve it because I know that I always put everybody else ahead. You know, when I was married, I never questioned my husband in regards to his work. You know, if he was busy, he was busy. If he was slow, he was slow. I never said, get up and go and make more money. We never argued about money. That was something I learned very early from my father. You never argue about money. So I never had that argument. I always had a stable income. Teachers, you know, it's stability. So I was always the one really providing in that aspect. Even though I was given to on a lot of fronts. I mean, I want to feel like someone has my back. I want to feel that I'm not left holding the bag. Because I used to be left holding the bag. And now, no more. Hi to Mama. Aw, Jody. And Jody, you take care of everybody. I would take care of you too. It's equal giving and receiving. So if that makes sense, that's what I think is where I see myself. And I would say from this live tonight, I want you to reflect over the next little while. I want you to think about where do you see yourself in the next 12 months and how are you going to achieve it? You manifest it 100%. Oh, I know. I already can see it. I can already see it. I already feel like I know how it's going to play out. And it's exciting. You know? So let's see what that card, see? There's the rabbits. Brand new beginning. You see how that happens? Good, Jody. That's what I'm here to do. I'm a teacher by trade. I make people think. Right? I'm a Virgo. That's what Virgos do. By the way, Mercury is in Virgo right now, if I'm not mistaken. So this is about analyzing and taking all the facts, putting them together, and judging. And I don't mean judging as in like I'm being judgy. That's what Virgo nature does. It takes all the facts. Geminis amass the facts with Mercury, and Virgos judge them and analyze them. Aw, thanks, Mish. Aw, I love it. I'm glad I'm in your 10-year plan. But there's the rabbits, brand new beginning. Okay. So let's see what else we need to know. My birthday is coming, I know, September 12th. I love it. Do I have green? I have green eyes, but my eyes actually can be very gray. People always think I have blue eyes, but maybe it's just because I have blue on, but I have green eyes typically. Green, gray. New life, new country, Annette. Beautiful. Your daughter's the 9th? Nice. Yes, Pisces is just full of love. Absolutely. Look at him grabbing a hold there. For my birthday, will I put on a party dress for my birthday? Absolutely. Absolutely. Hello, Becca. How are you? I agree. I agree, Jody. Look at this happening now. Grabbing a good amount there. And it's a 5 card. It's all about changes. I have a feeling, just looking at this card, that a relationship is going to move forward. And, you know, there's a train in the back. And, sorry, the train is about moving forward. The train is about moving forward. This is then all of a sudden where we start getting into the pip moments here, and then all of a sudden we start getting bad in our jokes and whatever. But anyways, I did dress up for my birthday last year. I did. Yeah, this is passion in the pants kind of moment here. So, no, this train is moving forward. And yes, Mish, my smirk, totally. But this is about something happening now, and there's a brand new beginning. And I think there's going to be a shift in a relationship where there's kind of this decision of, let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. A valiant effort. Okay? He says, I like you a lot. It's not just, I like you. It's, I like you a lot. And that's nice. That's really nice. Okay, let's see what else we need to know. 8 of Pentacles. Look at, we're harvesting. Look what that 8 of Pentacles turned into. Right? So, wear a birthday crown? I do have my crown somewhere. Yes, my tiara. I do have it. Fernanda! Oh my goodness, how are you? Fernanda, when I was on YouTube Live last night, we were saying we missed you because I think we talked about some rods of fire. And I mean, like, we need you for that conversation. Hi, DJ. But look at how he's built something here now. The 8 of Pentacles before was just 8 of Pentacles. Now it's like all built. We're building a relationship. We're building a connection. We're building something new and exciting. And I want you to embrace it. Okay? So let's go back to the Between Tarot and let's see what our near future says. Near future. You can't make it out. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to be a fool mixed with the Magician. And you know what the Fool is. We're going to trust and take a leap of faith. We're going to fly. And then you've got the Magician, and the Magician's all about manifestation. You have all the tools to do it. So, I mean, I know what this means, but let's take a look at the book because we've been using it for the other cards. And I opened it right to that page. Perfect. So, that being said, Teacher Kelly shall read to you. No longer hanging on that cliff. Selena, you got it. So the Magician is adventure, or the Fool is adventure, innocence, will, skill, and purpose, a leap of faith into the unknown. As the Fool leaps off the cliff into the unknown, we can see the bright sunshine illuminating the wings of his microlight, his chosen mode of flight. Our view is from the underside, and we can see that he lets go of his knapsack, representing his worldly possessions, experience, the ego, and is reaching for the blindfold he's about to remove. He'll be taking nothing else with him on his journey other than a sense of imagination, right? The key element for this card is that of air, the Fool, mixing with the communicative energy of planet Mercury, the Magician. In the background of the card can be seen the challenges and spiritual heights represented by the mountains. In the between stage of the Fool and the Magician is no mean feat and combines that sense of free fall where you can feel all of the excitement and buildup of energy in the very pit of your stomach. It takes a lot of guts to jump into the abyss. It certainly does. Okay? Now, I always reference this lyric from The Killers, and I love the band The Killers. I've seen them in concert like a million times, and one of the lyrics of their songs is, how do you know that you're right if you're not nervous anymore? And why I identify with that lyric is because you need a bit of that nervousness Because if you knew you were right, and I'm not saying you shouldn't trust yourself, you should. But there's got to be a little bit of nervousness if you are. Trust your intuition and you go for it and you take that leap. At the same time, it's okay to have a little bit of that, like, that feeling just like stirring in you, like, am I right? But I'm going to go for it and I'm going to see. You associate it with being a kid again. It's like a superhero imagery, right? So it's beautiful. And look at the flowers on the edge. Okay? And there's this is gonna sound funny. There's the rod of the magician, right? There's the feather. We're gonna write. We're gonna have the passion and the intensity. The dog is loyal energy. The dog's here, right? We're gonna be nervous no matter what the situation, 100%. Where's the rod? Right here. I know, Fernanda. It's not one that fits to the standard of what we talk about, but it's there. It's there. It's how you use it, Fernanda. It's how you use it. It is a beautiful card, though, isn't it? It's beautiful. So we're gonna trust and we're gonna take a leap of faith, and let's see what else we need to know. Yes, a smidge, Fernanda. Oh man. And I already saw the one card. And you're gonna love it. So dramatic. So dramatic. I really don't want to go and pick it up. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't. Because in order for me to do that, you don't understand. I know it sounds like it's not a big feat, not a big deal, but it is. It is. Okay? Oh. Look it. It's the diamond ring. It is, hi Bella, it is statement of intent. It is next level up. It's a commitment. And remember we talked about this couple right here? Okay? It's the idea that we're committing. Now, whether that's committing to yourself, whether that's you committing to another person, whether that's you committing to a new path, a new job, a new something, it is about your intention. What is your intention? Okay? What else do we need? See how dramatic that flew out? And no breadcrumbs. You got it. You've been seeing ring ads, Raquel? Yeah, rings. I agree with you. A lot of ring. Now, you guys know how I feel about this card, and let's reiterate. Water carrier. Yeah, pas de baguette, Cara. Pas de baguette. No croutons. Amazing, Melanie. Sounds amazing. Hold the baguettes. Hold the croutons. 100%. When you make your order with the universe, you tell them to hold the croutons. Water carrier means that this is the water bearer, which is Aquarius energy, but you know what I think of when I think of the water bearer? It's somebody who's holding their emotions. The near future says, in my opinion, somebody's going to let those emotions flow. Did anybody watch School of Miracles chakra reading? Please go and do so, because I posted it last night. It's Monday. It's Chakra Mondays. Miro and I did a talk about the astrological aspects, and we went through all the chakras and looked at the cards, and there's a really cool moment there where Miro and I pull the exact same card in the same chakra. And I posted it last night. Please go watch it. School of Miracles. I think it's going to really help you this week. It's about navigating the energies of this week. The Mars and Gemini. We talk about all the different things that are happening. Mars. Okay, so Mars and Gemini for the next 7 months, as I talked about earlier. Mars is about foundation. It's the masculine energy. It's the divine masculine. Right? It's aggression. Forward motion. Your foundation. So we talked about in that reading, as you'll see as we go up the chakras, about the idea of like the emotions, the communication. And water carrier, in my opinion, is all about letting those emotions flow freely. Somebody's been holding back. And when I say this, I don't just say it as in like cheesy tarot readings. I'm saying this really legitimately, that, you know, a lot of people struggle with being expressive. I have been one of those people. Okay. And I've been really like diligent about changing that about myself, where I can't be afraid. Okay. So in other words, you have to learn to be more free with your emotions, because in a sense, how do you know it's not going to bring you a wonderful reward? So go and watch School of Miracles and Chakra Mondays. I just posted it last night. You'll understand. Okay? Yeah, Cheryl, you've been holding back. A lot of us have in the past. I used to hold back a lot more when it came to my emotions, and I don't hold back anymore. Not the same way like I used to. But I've also learned here, maybe this might help you. There's a difference between giving freedom to your person and holding back. Okay? And I want you to recognize something. Holding back means I'm going to try to tug at your shirt or your jacket to keep you, versus I'm going to express how I feel without fear, but I'm also going to allow the door to be open. Okay? I'm going to allow that door to be open. Someone is more likely to stay if that door is open. If they feel like they can walk at any time, that you don't need them, they're more than likely to stay. If you are in the mindset of, I'm going to do everything possible to hold you close to me and force this, you're going to lose. And this is what's been bothering me lately, is that I've been seeing a lot of TikToks where men, and I'm not judging, this is not about gender. You know how we talked about gender earlier? Where men are making these dating advice videos where they say that men pull away, okay? And they do. And women say, well, basically, like, what the heck? Why can't he just say he needs a day of space, or 2 days of space, or 3 days of space? I don't deal with that. I don't deal with that shit. He can't communicate with me. Bye. And I see these comments and I'm like, okay, I want you to think about this for a second. In theory, I get it. It makes sense. Of course you want someone to communicate with you and say, hey, I need some space. But not everybody operates that way. Just because you want that, or you may operate that way, doesn't mean that they operate that way. Okay? That's an expectation. And we talked about expectations earlier in this reading. So if somebody pulls away, okay? If somebody pulls away from you, allow them to do that. Give them their space. People have to digest their emotions. Yes, Selena, as a Pisces, that's 1,000% true. People have to digest their emotions, and they also have to have an element of missing you. And I'm going to use the analogy that I heard today on TikTok. It was today or yesterday. So I don't know who's, and I wish I could give credit, although this is a general statement. It's not specific to anyone who said it, but I want to give you an example. Do you ever notice when you have a friend and you really find yourself annoyed by this friend? You see them all the time and like, ugh, you don't want to spend time with them anymore, so you distance yourself. And then you don't see that friend for, let's say, 6 months or 8 months, and all of a sudden that friend comes back up, and all of a sudden you talk, and there's no time has passed, and you're like, hey, let's get together. And then you realize when you see them why they annoyed you so much, or why. But the reason why you saw them again, or you got together with them again, is because you forgot. You had time to miss that person. There was an element of mystery in between. Okay? And I know you all know this. It's like you forget. You have time to forget the flaws that they have. If you are feeling this way about somebody romantically, where like you see them all the time, you have too much, because you want to be, and I know when you're in love with somebody, man, you want to see them 24/7. But do you ever notice how sometimes when you spend too much time with them, it's actually not a good thing for your relationship? Because then there's the overwhelming of feelings, and then they pull away because they have to process, or you have to process, and there's no element of missing that person. It's better if you organically grow that connection. That's why whenever I say the words like, I like you, there's nothing wrong with somebody saying, I like you. It doesn't have to be, I love you because I spent 8 hours with you on a date today. Or I spent 8 hours with you for 5 days in a row. And it has to be an automatic, well, I love you and now I'm ready to give you the world and I'm ready to move in with you and I'm ready to marry you. Are you kidding me? It has to take its time. So in other words, there's got to be an element of missing each other. And if somebody needs that time to process, I hate to say this, let them, because it's going to give you a true answer as to whether they want to be with you or not. Okay? It's going to tell you whether they want to be with you. Because if they feel your silence and they know that you're busy and you're living your life, they know that you don't need them to survive. And that is what makes somebody all of a sudden want to reach out. But if you're sending 10 text messages in a row, then like you're just pushing that person away. You know what I mean? Like, you can manifest your specific person. That's a whole other conversation. And I've been doing sessions with people about this. You know, we've been talking about how to do this. You can absolutely in your heart of hearts believe in somebody and want to be with somebody. You can manifest that, but you got to manifest that the right way. And the right way is not alienating a person, emailing them 10 times in a row, texting them 10 times in a row. That's something different. That's anxious attachment, and you have to know your attachment style. But a lot of the time, it's give somebody the space. If you don't talk to your person for a day, it's okay. If you don't hear back from them right away, it's okay. Because that worry, that energy that you're in is going to manifest more of that problem, and what you resist persists, or what you focus on is going to continue. So therefore, do you want to try to hold on to somebody anxiously and force somebody to be with you? Or do you want to allow somebody to have that bit of freedom but come to you because they really genuinely want to be with you? Because if you're forcing somebody's hand to be with you, man, oh man, do you really want that? How long is that going to last for? How long are you going to do that? You're going to live it. Is that going to sustain a long-term relationship? Because if you're planning on being in a relationship with this person for the next 30, 40 years of your life, that's a lot of work on your end. That's a lot of smothering and parenting and bossing. You know? Make sense, Sandy? The more he pushes, the more you feel smothered. Exactly. And the freedom intrigues you. Of course it does. Of course it does. And it's the hardest thing when someone pulls away. It's the hardest thing when someone doesn't communicate that they need time. You feel like you did something wrong. You feel like, what the heck did I do? Oh my goodness, did I blow it? Are they talking to someone else? But by the way, it goes both ways. Can I remind you of something? It goes both ways. It's not just like we're like, you know, you're thinking about what he's doing, if that's the case, if that's the scenario. It can be the other way around. He's wondering what you're doing. Why do you think men sense it? Like, I hate to say this, it's not about gender, but like, let's use our brains for a second here. Why do you think men sense it when somebody else comes into the picture? Why do you think they feel it when someone else is going to text you, when somebody else reaches out to you, when somebody else is in the background of a picture? You don't think that a man notices that? And you may sit there and say, oh, men don't notice things, or men don't whatever. They certainly do. You know why? Because for men, it's ego. It's their ego. It's their status of being top dog in your books. They want to be the number one. That's why they breadcrumb. Because they want to give you just enough. Now, again, that's a whole other scenario. We're not talking here about breadcrumbing. We're talking about legitimate relationships here. Exactly. They worry about you in the streets, but you're really in the sheets taking a nap. Exactly. Exactly. Top dog is an inside joke. Synchronicity for you. So in other words, if you are the one that's too busy to talk to them, and I'm not suggesting playing games. I don't like anybody playing games and dating. I really don't. I got to wait 5 hours before I can respond, or I'm going to match their energy. Yeah, why would you want to match that? No offense. Like, think about law of assumption here for a second. Why would you want to match their energy? You're just assuming you're assuming that there's a game. So you're going to get a game. So I don't like the idea of, I'm going to match your energy. I'm going to match, you don't text me for 2 days, I'm not going to text you for 2 days. You know what I mean? And Selena, here's the thing that's different. In your relationship, in your connection, you both work from home, you're in a relationship. If that person is in a committed relationship with you, you have every right to have a conversation. There's nothing to be afraid about having a conversation about. And I said it on YouTube last night. Somebody sees you naked, you can have a conversation. Because remember the story on YouTube last night? You know, people are so afraid to have a conversation with someone. Have they seen you naked? Then I think they've seen you at your most vulnerable. But anyways, wow, we've had a long, interesting talk tonight, haven't we? But look, in general, don't think that people are automatically out the door just because you haven't heard from them for a day or two or three. If they are out the door, then you don't need them. They're not your person, right? They're not your person. If someone's not responding to you consciously, they're not your person. Now, manifestation is a whole other topic. But in general, from like a 3D perspective, right? You gotta ask yourself. Aw, thanks, Jody. So let's look at the after tarot. So let's just recap for a second here. We're gonna take that leap of faith. We're gonna have that statement of intent, right? And we're gonna allow those emotions to come out. What do we got? The King of Swords. The King of Swords is being illogical and decisive. This is someone who takes the emotion out of it and uses the logic. Let's be real for a second. Let's go back. If somebody is not messaging you and they're pulling back, how are you reacting? Are you reacting based on emotion or are you reacting based on logic? Which one? Because you know the answer. How are you reacting? Tell me in the comments. How are you reacting? Someone doesn't respond to your text message. What? Okay. Thank you. You know the answer. Emotion. You're sitting there going, why didn't they text me back? What did I do? I'm hurt. I'm sad. I'm angry. Right? Okay. Especially if you care about them and you really like them. Right? But logic would tell you, hold on. And I'm not saying make excuses, by the way. Oh, they're busy, they're this, whatever. Give people the benefit of the doubt to a certain extent. Right? There's a difference between reasonable and unreasonable. So in other words, if you are reacting based on emotion, I understand that, but you also have to be able to use some logic. Just because someone didn't text you back in an hour or a day or 3 days doesn't mean they don't care about you or they don't like you. And I understand people say, well, you know, if he wanted to, he would, or if she wanted to, she would. There is some truth to that, but that's not always the case. There are mitigating circumstances, and you cannot judge and compare to everybody else. What's reasonable? What's reasonable? That's the tough part, Jeff. I don't think that there is a specific answer to this. Because I'll give you an example from like a teaching perspective. That as students or clients or friends on live, whatever way you want to phrase this, you are all uniquely you, and all your situations are unique to you. So I can't say that the way I would respond to, let's say, your situation is the same way I would respond to Selena, to Sandy, Christine, whoever. So there's really no one size fits all. And this is the problem when we have these conversations with friends. Because this is what I always say, don't have spiritual type conversations about deep soul connections with people who don't understand deep soul connections. My gift is that I can see the bigger picture. I can understand why people do what they do, even if I don't agree with it. I don't get mad. I don't pop off on these things because I get it. How can I be mad at someone? It's like my ex-husband. How can I be mad at him? He did some really atrocious things, but how can I be mad at him? Because I understand why he did them. Now, that doesn't mean I have to be in a relationship with him. Doesn't mean I have to like it, but I understand it. I hope for more. What's reasonable for me? Okay, but that's a whole different story, Jeff. Because what's reasonable for me is not really dependent just on me. What's dependent is, what are the circumstances? Who is this other person? How much do I care about this other person? What does this other person value? How invested is this other person into me? How are they showing up every day? Do their words match their actions? Do their actions match their words? Like, you can't even, but how can I really understand how he did it though? Yeah, I do understand, Kara. I completely understand why he did it. I really understand all the reasons why he did it. Selena, that's just my gift. That's why I do what I do. That's why I've been a good teacher. That's why I'm a good counselor. That's why I'm a good tarot card reader, because I truly can understand the bigger picture. I can connect the dots like nobody's business. You know, when you're sitting in a session with me and I'm going, this happened because of this at this age, because of that, and this, that, whatever. Oh, and he did this. Oh, okay, that happened because of that. But how can I understand it, Kara? I just do. I mean, I like it, but I understand it. And I'm okay with it because I recognize that it was meant to be that way, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no regrets. Thank you, Megan. I have no regrets. Yeah, Michelle, that's what happens. Yeah, I agree. I do see the bigger picture, Selena, and that is, I don't know if that's just my astrological chart. That's just who I am. I have been this way my entire life. That's why my friends, and I would hope that you guys know this about me too, as my friends and my TikTok family, that I somehow just understand and I get it. It's very rare for me to really ever pop off and get angry and get mad because I don't get pushed to that point. Trust me, there are times that I wish I could just be like, F this. F you, like I don't get me wrong, I have my moments. Hi, Jake. Take care, Bill. I trust me, I have my moments. At the same time though, what does it serve me? Maybe, Selena, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am an old soul. Yes. Yeah. Carolee, for sure. But I have my moments. Don't get me wrong. When I go off, I can. But it's so rare for me. Nobody's ever going to get to me. You can't. You can't. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. Because I'm strong that way. But I've also, I've had a lot of experience. So let's see what is our suggested approach. Okay. So we know our near future is intention, taking leaps of faith, letting out the emotions, being decisive. Let's see what is our suggested approach. I love it. Oh my goodness. You're going to love this card. This is the Six of Cups. How do you know if you're an old soul, Amberly? I've always known that about myself. I connect very well with all age groups. I could easily talk to a teenager. I could easily talk to a senior citizen and everybody in between. You're welcome, Gloria. This card is really beautiful because the Six of Cups, you know how we talked about innocence and inner child, and we talked about, past life connections and nostalgia, wishes coming true. That's the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. I love it. See how these two are young? And then look, there they are older. And I look at this like tree here, and this reminds me of Disney, actually. Hi, Michaela. This reminds me of Disney, of what is it, the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom. And there's this like island here, this sort of like mountain. And I'm kind of wondering if like this is we'll see in the book, if it's like the symbolism of overcoming obstacles. But look at them. Let's read the book. And now I'm excited to read the book. Jeez, I've never been so excited to read a tarot book. I can't say I've ever really read tarot books. So this is Six of Cups, Seven of Cups. Beautiful. Okay, so the key words for the Six of Cups is naivete. I say it so French. Being naive. Innocence. Seven of Cups is choices and disillusion. And this is choice of another path, is the in-between. Yeah, it does. You're right. The woman has discovered a new man, and they are now carrying on an affair. They're in a boat on the lake embracing. People are watching this play out from the shore of the lake, but the couple are seemingly unaware that anyone is watching. The children in the foreground of this card represent the innocence of the Six of Cups. There is a return to childhood where choices are easy and pain-free. The sun shining on the water reflects the couple in the boat and the path they have chosen to pursue. When this card shows up, it will show us a lapse of concentration where the person can still retract the decision they're about to make before they are in too deep. Too many tempting options surround us, and we can often feel overwhelmed by them in this in-between stage. Interesting. So here's the thing. What did I say to you earlier? Someone is contemplating whether they want to take the dive, whether they want to go and commit. Do they want to pull out? That sounds bad. Do they want to do they want to pull out before the commitment? Or do they want to go for it? Are they, I know. When I said it, I knew. I was being so serious too, but that's okay. That's typical. I can laugh. But it's the idea. Fernanda, that got you, didn't it? That pulled you out, didn't it? I love it. But the idea here is that, am I making the right decision? Should I stop before I get too deep? Coconut, 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 coconut. Hi, Marita. But anyways, this is really lovely energy. It's nostalgia. I know, Lord help us. It's totally about nostalgia. Okay? It is too deep, Kara. Way too deep. Way too deep. The Hierophant, it's about commitment. Listen, the Hierophant is about spiritual ascension, commitment, and marriage. And this connection is a past life connection. It's very deep, no pun intended. And I think there is a commitment here. The suggested approach is commitment. Have you ever noticed that people tend to pull back just before they're about to make a commitment? They contemplate. I'm going to give you an interesting story. Somebody very close to me. This is going back many, many years, by the way. And this is not like anything recent, nothing identifiable. I'll never forget when she was living abroad and she met somebody and they dated for about a year, and you can be out of the country for about a year and then otherwise you got to go home, right? You got to go back to your daily life. And they had to make a decision whether or not they were going to get married or what they were going to do, live long distance, whatever. And the guy said to her, well, I'm going on a trip. And this was, they were in Europe. They were living in Europe. And he's like, I'm going on a trip to Madagascar with my buddies. We're going to the jungles of Madagascar. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I get back. Hello, my friend. I'll let you know when I get back. And we always laugh about this story because it's like, oh man, he really had to think about it, you know? But isn't it true that we take that as such a stab in the heart? Like, oh, you really had to think about it? Like, you didn't know you wanted to marry me? You didn't know that you love me? But the truth is, hi Lucia, but the truth is that oftentimes when people are contemplating making a decision such as a commitment, you know, an engagement, buying a house, going for the long haul, people often need that break or that time to really think it over. Hi, Marissa Bell. And we take that as being something bad, but in reality, it's somebody who's really thinking this through. You know, we talked about this earlier, right? It's okay to say, I like you. It's okay to say, I like you a lot. It's okay to say, I love you. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to love somebody right away. I mean, yes, you can be someone who sparks your soul and you feel a love at first sight, but that's the initial attraction. Time is what will tell you, right? So anyways, that card there signals to me that there is a commitment coming. Okay? And we'll see where it takes us, whatever that commitment is. Excusez-moi. We have a bonfire. We have a bonfire. I know you all love the bonfire. I told you. Enthusiasm, energy, heated, intense, joy, ignite, passion, ecstasy, exhilaration, spark, community, sharing ideas, getting things going. The big O, if you know what I mean. Fanaticism, fever. He gave me fever. And fierce. Okay, let's get the drinks out. Oh my God, you make me laugh. This is a lot of passion in the pants. Jody, you tapping out? Coconut, you tapping out? But here you go. The bonfire. We're setting a fire to this commitment. And I don't mean we're burning it all down. We're enlightening. We're turning on the light. We're lighting that match. Remember the light bulb? Illumination? Same idea. That's really like all it is. Let's look at the after tarot. The Nine of Pentacles. So when you felt good in your own skin, in that pre-Empress energy of the Nine of Pentacles, look at, she's harvesting the grapes. Grapes is abundance. Hi, Madonna. The grapes is abundance. But how did she get the grapes? Grapes do not grow overnight. Anybody who's ever tried to grow grapes, you know how sour and disgusting and gross they are if you try to eat those grapes before they're ready. Okay? I remember as a child, my mother bought we had grapes, and I got so excited because I wanted to eat grapes that we grew. Don't eat grapes that aren't ripe. Okay? Oh, nice, Amberly. I'll have to look. So this is about finding yourself first. And remember what I was saying about the freedom aspect in dating. You need to feel good in your own skin. You need to be busy. You need to be doing your own thing, living your own life. They need to know that you're busy. And it's not a game. You're not there to prove anything to anybody. What I'm saying is, you don't need anybody and they don't need you. There's a difference between wanting someone and needing someone. It's like what is the old quote about dessert, right? It's like you don't need it, but you want it, right? So in other words, this is about finding you, and when you find you, you find them, and vice versa, right? Okay, let's go back to the Between Tarot, and we'll go to, what do we need to know? What do we need to know right now? What do we need to know? The Magician. Remember we had the Fool and the Magician? Now we've got the Magician. We have and the High Priestess. So in other words, this is Magicians. You've got all the tools. You're channeling everything you want because you're getting the messages. There's the Moon, right? This is a whole vibe tonight. I'm going to put this on YouTube if it downloads properly, for sure. Because I think this is one for the books, right? Hi, Kathy. The Magician. So let's read from the book like we've been doing tonight. Just, I feel like I'm such a teacher in this moment, you know, like I love it. You can probably tell how much I love it. And nice to see you too, Madonna. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, the cards are really lovely, aren't they? Okay, so look how nice. So the High Priestess and the Magician, this is will, skill, and purpose, and intuition and goddess energy, the contemplation of ritual. The Magician spends much of his time channeling enormous energy reserves into the 4 elements that he has in his possession. He has been given a lot of power, which is represented by his red cloak. But power can often be abused. Consider some of the most notorious dictators of our time, and you can easily envisage what an abuse of power looks like. When the intuitive element of water is highlighted to him, he is now given the option to progress inwards and become more spiritual in his practice. The energy of this in-between card has a feeling of ritual about it. The Magician is the metamorphosis of the Fool, and having been presented with the tools that he will need for his journey, the sword, the coin, the wand, and the cup, he is now contemplating the different elements in order to gauge their importance and necessity on his journey. In front of him, but out of view, stands the high priestess, who is gesturing towards the cup and the intuitive element of water. Her domain is that of the moon, which illuminates the temple space in the quiet sanctuary. Etched into the temple's altar is the symbol of the triple goddess, which represents the pagan symbol for the sacred female energy. Okay, so here's the thing. What did we just talk about? Contemplation. You have all the tools, gauging how to use them. Now what do I do? It's like saying, okay, I've met somebody. I really like them. These are the tools in front of me. These are the resources. How do I use them? Do I want to use them? Everything he needs. He may have everything he needs, but what does he want? That's what it comes down to. Trust your intuition. What do you want? You know what you want. Deep down, you know what you want. Okay? So let's take a look at the Intuit Oracle and see what we need to know. So the Niblin, to say this bluntly, then don't see an issue. If they don't see an issue, then you don't see an issue. Because it makes an issue to point out that there's an issue. Now, it depends how long you've been going back and forth, and that's something that we talked about earlier about mitigating circumstances. Thank you, Jody. So let's see. The Magician and the High Priestess. Alchemy. Blending. Brewing. Something is brewing here. Concoction. I'll put it to you this way, Niblin. The more you point it out, and I don't mean this to us, I'm saying to your person. The more you point this out to your person, the more they're going to dig their heels in. The less you point it out, the key here in manifestation, I'll tell you what I think. Okay, and this is a mixture of like law of assumption. I believe in a whole concoction of manifestation tips. You need to be indifferent. Indifferent. Neither nor. There's no reaction. Because if there's a reaction, you're going to continue to manifest that issue. Okay? So, in other words, we want to be indifferent. Bye, Cheryl. Have a wonderful day. Okay. Awesome, Cheryl. I look forward to talking to you. But this is the whole point. We have to be indifferent about it. If you're back to the whole thing, let's say your person doesn't text you, and you, out of need and necessity, you force that communication. You accidentally send them an article, you accidentally send them a text, you reach out to them out of like validation. That intention will bring the result of that neediness. If you text somebody out of the intention of not caring whether there's a response, that's your key. So when you're debating, should I text this person, should I not? Ask yourself, what's the intention behind it? Is it for validation? Is it because you feel like you're in lack and you need them? Or is it because you could care less either way about what their response is? You're going to say whatever you say. It's like saying, I miss you. I've been thinking about you. They may not return the favor. Like they may not say, I miss you too. They may not say, I'm thinking about you too. But you put it out there and you didn't care whether or not they returned it. You said it because you said it, because you felt it, because that was your intention in the moment to share that. Right? So in other words, ask yourself, and it doesn't have to be romantic, it can be anybody. It could be a friend, it could be a boss, it could be a coworker, it could be any family, whoever. If you're sending it with the intention of a need or you're feeling in lack of something, I wouldn't send the message. But if you don't care and you're indifferent, bye Megan, have a wonderful night. If you're indifferent, totally different story. Completely different story. Because that's you being confident and having the intention of strength, right? So let's see, what else do we need to know here? The yacht, things are moving forward. Is it okay to say I miss you and not care what they say? Yeah, I've done it, Jen. I've done it. Is it okay to say I miss you and not care? Yeah, it is okay. It's okay to miss somebody. I miss you. I miss you. You don't miss me? What am I going to do about it? Like, what can I do? What can I do to change that? And how do you know they don't miss you? How do you know they're not, even if they don't say it back, how do you know they don't miss you? You know what I mean? You have a friend that you think wants more. I don't, so sometimes I don't reply or wait a long time. Well, that's because that's technically you're sending a message. That you're sending that message. That's your response is because you feel like you're being pushed, Carly. That's the chasing, right? And that's the thing. So the yacht and the boat here is all about forward motion, adventure, affluence, luxury, mobility, travel, great ease, smooth sailing, sophisticated, with the wind, self-indulgent, prosperity, comfort, wealth, over the top, extravagant. It's something is brewing that is so beautiful. Believe that it's beautiful. Believe it. Believe it. But don't have the lack or the neediness in it, because otherwise it's not moving anywhere. That boat's going to be in port. It's not gonna take off. And there's the Tower. See, this is the thing. It's all about rebuilding. You know, the Tower in the After Tarot is sort of like everything has burned down. It's burned down. Now you got to take a risk. How do you know if the guy likes you more than a friend? Well, I think there's many things that can tell you whether somebody likes you. They want to see you. They want to talk to you. They're interested in what you have to say. They're not asking for too much, like trying to get you to send pictures and like get too dirty too quickly. You know, I think there's a nice healthy balance of all that. So the Tower just means like a breakthrough and a rebuilding. And I think that there is, no feet pics. Oh my goodness. Do you know, let me remind you all of my dating advice. This is always a funny one that everyone laughs at. If somebody's asking you for pics and you don't feel comfortable about it, like, you're just like, I'm sorry, I barely know you. Okay, like you've been talking for 18 hours and all of a sudden they're like, send me pics, send me pics, send me pics. Use my line, okay? This is what I say. I would say, my goodness, how did you live, like whatever age they are, how did you live 35 years without these pics? You know, I'd like to know, when you went to bed at night, you mean for 35 years what did you do with yourself? You met me? You've talked to me? You haven't even met me. And you, hi Calvin, and you, wow, how did you survive? Man, huh. You know what I mean? Like, that's always my response. That's always, and like it always gets some sort of like, you know, like, because it's true. Like, what do you say? Like, what do you say to that? Like, you know what I mean? You mean you lived this amount of years without me? How did you, I'd like to know. How did you survive without these pics? My goodness. Wow. I can't get over the impact that I have on your life. So that's what I say. Well, because it puts them on the spot. Like, tell me, how did you function? Like, how did you function? You mean in like 40 years, you never, really? Wow. Jeez. Man, my energy must be strong. I knew my energy was strong, but I didn't know it was that strong. Oh, that's like wow, what a compliment. That is such a compliment. But you know what I mean. Be like, I have an only pause, want to donate? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my sarcasm. That's my Sag rising sarcasm. So let's see, what is our hope and or fear? Hope and or fear. Interesting. Interesting. A lot of hangman energy tonight. Hangman and death, Scorpio energy. Ooh, interesting. I can't wait to read this one. Yeah, if they don't get it, they're not meant for you. You think you came back into an interesting part of the conversation? Totally did. Okay, so let's read from the book for this one. The Hanged Man and Death. Oh, that's Scorpio energy. You know I like that. Nothing like a sarcastic Sag. Oh, totally. Totally. Okay, you guys ready? So this is our hope and or fear. Impasse, reflection, transformation, resurrection, release of the ego. The fool hangman is now hillside at nighttime and surrounded by a jeering crowd. He's been entrapped in the base of a wicker man structure which has been set alight by the onlookers. Whether for right or wrong, the decision to try the fool as a criminal has been made, and the crowd are now intent on sending him up to the gods as a human sacrifice. Moving through the hangman and onwards to the death card, the fire shown in this card represents the death process and the transformational energy of this element. The wicker man represents the ego in the picture and the fact that it is being stripped away. With the loss of the ego comes emotional vulnerability and a new way of seeing things. There are butterflies which are flying around the fool's feet, indicating the transformational nature of the situation. By Lucia. Just as butterflies have emerged from the chrysalis stage, so will be the fool. So you know that the caterpillar becomes a butterfly through the process of death. It thinks it's dying. So purification by fire, becoming more emotionally vulnerable. Okay, you're Sag rising? Me too, Michaela. So rebirth has to happen. So see this burning that we just had, and what do you need to know? You're going through a transformation. And it's scary. And that's your fear. Your fear is your ego death. It's the dark night of the soul. If you know what the dark night of the soul is, it's a very scary process for everybody who's been through it, because man, it's not fun. However, it's going to bring you to new heights. It's going to bring you new strength, new powers, new abilities, new insights that you never had before. We talked about the light bulb again. Here's the hangman. It's enlightenment. This is all bringing enlightenment and a purification through fire. Okay, so like a phoenix coming through the ashes of the fire, just like a Scorpio. That's why Scorpios have such beautiful and intense energy. Hello, Ashley. How are you? So in other words, this is like a real transformation, a renewal, a rebirth. I love the phoenix too. Let it be right now. Just let it be. Don't get worked up. Don't worry so much. Okay? Go through the process, or allow your person to go through that process, because they're finding their way. Oh, I'm well, Ashley. It's been a very stressful time with my family and things, but everything is okay, as best as we can. My dad's not any better, but you know, there's always hope, right? We're finding our way. Your person's finding their way. You're finding their way. Exploration, find your way, locate, unknown destination, new territory, lay of the land, plan, prepare, chart a course, read the signs, figure it out, directions, new perspective. It's all going to be okay. I assure you, it will. Hi, Denise. Okay, so the after tarot, the Nine of Wands. So what's interesting with the Nine of Wands is that there's usually one person in the picture. Thank you, my friend. How are you doing? This is about the idea that usually there's one person in the Nine of Wands, and now you've got two here. And see how he's looking at him? You know what I mean? Like he's kind of giving him like a, hey. But he's got someone standing next to him. He's not alone. Hi, Andrea. He's not alone. He's probably another wounded warrior. But at the same time, yeah, he is another wounded warrior because his hand has bandages and there's blood on his sleeve, right? It's like saying you're not alone. That's the fun. Like, get out of here. What are you doing? This is my victim show. Hey, listen, hold on. I'm in victim mentality. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Let me be the victim. Let me be the victim. Because this guy's over here like stealing his thunder, you know? He's got pains too. He's got wounds too. He wants to share them. But it's also saying like you're not alone. It's like saying I got scars too. They're helping each other. Yeah. Yeah, I know we're teasing. But it's like we're all in this together and everything is going to be okay. Okay? All right, so last round, people. Let's see what is our probable outcome. Like, yo, hear me out. Yeah. Okay. Probable outcome. Strength. Strength and the Hermit. You cannot make this up. I am in complete and utter just like, wow. 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 I don't know if any of you get it as to why. We have Strength and Hermit. Strength to Hermit. What did I say when I first came on live tonight? We are in the in-between moments. When we started this live, we were minutes away from Virgo season. We went from Leo to Virgo. Strength is Leo, Hermit is Virgo. We just shifted tonight together. Holy shift, everybody. We all just walked into this portal together tonight through these stories, through this chat. We did it together. Can you believe that? I can. But look at that. That is the last card. For those of you that have been here throughout this reading, hi Taz, I'm going to put it on YouTube if it downloads properly, because this one is for the books. This was monumental. Strength and Hermit. Okay, let's read from the book, shall we? Strength and Hermit. All right. Wow. Thank you, Madonna. You're magical too. Funny how all the cards are matching my t-shirt tonight. Okay. Focus, effort, meditation, and patience. Discovering the inner guide. As we move through Strength and approach the Hermit, the Fool's focus starts to move inward. We enter the realm of the subconscious, the world of dreams. The pictured character is moving slowly up the bridge and into the mountains. He is perfectly balanced, relying confidently on his inner strength reserves. This card will show that the Fool, Strength, has changed from a scene of non-action to spirituality. He's contemplative, awaiting the next stage, but before he's able to enter that inner realm, he needs to be introduced to his inner guide. The mountains represent spiritual challenges, and the candle he is holding represents focus and illumination. The engraving of Leo, which is carved into the left-hand pillar of the gateway, presents the strength necessary to meet these challenges on the Fool's meditative journey. The inner guide, Hermit, is engraved into the right-hand pillar of the gateway. This is the goal of the Fool, who is walking onward to meet the guide's arrival. The inner guide may take the form of dreams, angels, subtle feelings, or intuitive hunches. Guides will appear in our lives, often when we least expect it, but usually when we most need it. Holy shift, people. We are protected. We protect each other. That's why we have the best TikTok family, now YouTube family, Instagram family out there. And I would debate that with anybody, because I know what we have here. Holy shift. Okay, so let's take a look at the Intuit Oracle and see what other card we need to know. The Coffin. So we've been talking a lot about death. It also talked about ego death tonight. We talked about a lot of things. This is about saying we're letting go of everything that used to be. Okay? Death, loss, inactive, forgotten, discouraged, absent-minded, defeated, ending, dull, breakup, down and out, over and done. You're done with it. You're now finding your guide. You're going to find your way. Don't ever doubt yourself. I'm going to push it because I haven't pushed it tonight. Let's push it. I love it. The Fool. That death, there's the rebirth. Okay? We're going to trust and take a leap of faith. We've had the Fool energy a lot tonight. Okay. Let's look at the other deck here. Isn't it exciting? It's scary, but it's exciting. Autumn. Full moon. The next 6 to 9 months, and it says the Queen. Divine feminine energy. Full moon is divine feminine, the Queen. 6 to 9 months, the autumn. We're on that brink right now. It's coming. We're saying goodbye to the summer very soon. Let's take another one, shall we? Chocolate. You're going to savor it. Satisfaction, perfection, love, romance, treating yourself, sweet, rich, smooth, splurge, aphrodisiac, the good stuff, fine dining, do things right, celebration, elevated mood. Indulgent, yes. Okay, let's see what the after tarot says. Virgo season is actually tonight, Kara. We're already in Virgo season. It happened tonight. I believe we're on 8 something. Oh my God, our likes are at 222. 22,000. Just moved to 22.3. Just when I looked. Okay, you guys ready? The Chariot. Can I remind you of something? I just want to remind you all of something, just in case you don't remember, because we've been on here a very, very, very long time. At the beginning of the reading, what did we have? The Chariot and the Strength card. Notice how we moved from Cancer season to Leo season. And then we moved into Leo season, into Virgo season. Our very last card in the after tarot is the Chariot. And in this particular card, hand on the heart, coming from the heart, intention from the heart to move everything forward. Victory, recognition of one's soul purpose. Need I say more? I don't think so. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think that was one of the most beautiful readings I've ever done on live. And I appreciate you all so, so much. This was definitely one where if you were here, you know, I love you too. I'm going to try to download this one and put it up on YouTube so that we can watch it again if we need to. Go check out School of Miracles. And Sunny, I'll get it up on YouTube. School of Miracles, look at the Chakra Mondays episode. I think it'll really help you navigate the week. You know, Mars and Gemini. I think you'll really, really identify with it. What does it mean when Gemini's in your first house? Gemini is your rising sign then. You're welcome, Susan. I hope you have a wonderful night too, Madonna. Thank you so, so much. All right. Bonne nuit, mon ami. Merci. This was amazing. I thank you all so, so much. It was really, really good. I can't thank you enough for all your kindness, your love, and your support. You're awesome too, Andrea. Thank you so much. It has been, Kara. I agree. Elizabeth, thank you. You're welcome, Strawberry. Thank you so, so much. Andrea, I appreciate it. You're welcome, Cindy. Thank you. You guys are the best, 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 best people. Couldn't ask for any better group to be on this journey with. We got something really special here. Really, really special. Okay? Thank you. We do, Carolyn. I know. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, Carly, have a good night. Sending you lots of love. I appreciate it. And check out YouTube. I'm going to try to get up there as soon as I possibly can. Hopefully it downloads properly. Okay? Lots of love, everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye.